Audio check 1, 2. Audio check 1, 2.
There you go. Now you got it.
There we go.
Yep.
Hey guys, AJ Town here with T-Storm Chasers. I got an echo, sorry. So it's kind of bugging me. Hey guys, AJ Town here live with the T-Storm Chasers. I got Riley Tufts with us. We'll switch back over to here real quick. Hopefully this will bring continue to work and we can definitely hear us now. We are going to be actually discussing this winter storm system that's going to be moving through the area Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. Believe it or not, it's going to be definitely a system that's going to impact a lot of the area and definitely going to bring some major moisture to the area. So Riley, you've been with T-Storm Chasers now for just under a year. You got your first real scare with us when the derecho came through. That really got your feet wet. Mm-hmm. So real quick, guys, we're going to jump over here to the European model. As we take a look at this European model, we're starting out at the 54-hour mark here. We'll definitely back that up just a little bit here. As we back it up here, we're now looking at Monday at 18 Zulu. As we start to continue to put this map into motion here, we see right about that 12 Zulu, 00 Zulu, which is about that 6 p.m. We start seeing that rain shower start to push through. If you look to the north of us there, you do see those showers there. To the north of us is going to be a greater accumulation as far as the ice probability. Further west you go, though, the snow chances do increase. As you continue to put this map into motion there, Tuesday, we do have those chances of seeing some of that ice accumulation, rain system pushing through. As that continues to push through there, you see right through the Pier area, central portions of South Dakota, you see the greatest threat there. Over FSD, Sioux Falls area there, we do still have that chance of seeing that mixed precipitation pushing through. As we do continue to put the map into motion, we do continue. Sorry, I just saw a message of no audio. So audio still good? Sorry, I just saw a message of.
As far as I know, you still have audio.
Audio check. Or maybe she came in late and there was no audio for her. So I just want to make sure that we're getting audio. Audio is good. Perfect. That's what we like to hear. Audio is good. All right. Anyways, continuing. And now as we go through the day, on Wednesday, we start to see things switch over to that rain snow system mix. That'll continue to progress its way over the South Dakota and upper Midwest portion. We see that low pressure system that is to the south of us as that low pressure system is sitting there. That's creating what they call a hurricane effect wrapping around. We can see that through each little model sweep of that we are doing. So believe it or not, folks, we're looking at a hurricane type situation for the Midwest with this low pressure system sitting over us. That's going to give us that wraparound. And as we go into the day Thursday, we're going to start seeing some of those lingering showers start to linger off and continue to progress its way eastward and out of the area by Friday morning when we do see that partly sunny cloud chances. Sunday, we're looking at another little clipper system coming through on Sunday, not bringing us much of a moisture system as that low pressure system does push through another low pressure system. Then as we continue throughout the rest of the week, we just see a little bit of snips up here and there of clipper systems. One thing we do definitely see, though, with this system, and Riley can verify this too, as he's been kind of looking at this, is going to be these ice accumulation. This ice is really what our greatest concern is with this. So the European model will take a quick brief look at that. Now, as you can see right at the FSD there is there's ice accumulation with it. Further north you go is going to be where that ice is going to be the heaviest. Basically, Highway 81 to the east looks is what it appears. I-90 there to the south and I-35 corridor along the I-80 corridor there as well is what we are seeing with some of that. Now, why are we concerned about temps and stuff like that? You can see here the freeze line is what is going to really play a factor here. As you watch that freeze line diminish is where you can see the freezing is all over the map. And with that freeze line, it's going to really play a factor into where that ice accumulation is going to be and how things are going to form. Now, I know a lot of your questions are, what are we looking at for snow, dude? What's going to be the snow totals? I will do the European model. Riley has his own thoughts on that. We'll jump into that here in just a quick second on Riley's thoughts on some of this and see what we can look at and see. So some areas could see upwards to, believe it or not, 2 feet of snow, but that is more of western portions of South Dakota. You can see this black area here is right between that 12 to 18 inches mark. For now back home at the FSD area there, we are looking right around that 3 to 4 inch mark with us maybe a little heavier. Again, it's all going to depend on where that freeze line sets up. Up by the Siston area there, you can see is going to be a little bit of a heavier system there with that. As we switch over to the GFS model, which is another model that we look at for snow totals there too, puts the FSD about that 3.2. This does shift a little further eastward for snow totals as far as seeing those greater snow totals. And we are definitely, I'm feeling those snow totals pushed a little further east than what they really should have. I feel that this is going to be right there is going to be the cutoff basically of what we're going to see with that. Now, Riley, this is your slide. Is go ahead and talk about this one.
Yeah. So before I get into it, I just want to say that
I
whichever.
have no audio from Riley. Oh, that's why. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. So whichever way you look at this, it's going to be like a really complex system. Any way you look at it, whether it's the rain, the freezing rain, or the heavy snow. Somewhere in South Dakota, I think is going to get 2 feet of snow. And then there's going to be other parts like maybe around like Yankton's, Vermilion area that could get, maybe just an inch or two. It really just all depends on, like you said, the freezing rain. That's going to be the biggest concern though, with the roads and everything come, Tuesday or into Wednesday or Thursday. But I do feel like Thursday is going to be more like the wraparound snow in eastern South Dakota. But Monday night is when it's supposed to start. And it's going to, once it gets into Tuesday, it'll be more snow up near like Pierre, Mulbridge, northern South Dakota area. And then on Wednesday, maybe a bit of a break for Sioux Falls in southeastern South Dakota. But then on Thursday, again, that wraparound moisture kind of gets Sioux Falls involved. And I think that's where most of the snow is going to fall for Sioux Falls.
So this winter storm watch goes into effect when?
Yep, that's that winter storm watch. Look at this here. So that is in effect with heavy snow of 6 inches or greater and ice accumulations. Obviously, winds gusting as well up to 35. So that winter storm watch is in effect from late Monday night through Tuesday evening. And that's just the very early beginning stages of it. Obviously there's going to be winter storm warnings and blizzard. There could be a blizzard watch. We'll see. But with that wind, with all the snow and the possible 35-mile-an-hour wind, I would assume there's going to be blizzard warnings eventually issued, probably in northern South Dakota. But yeah, as of right now, the winter storm watch, that's kind of just a precursor to everything that's going to happen. So
As we take a quick look here, I'm bringing up right now our latest ice accumulation map, which is kind of showing where this is about the 50 percentile of seeing that ice accumulation over the course of until the 13th. And you guys can see that right now along the I-29 corridor, this model run puts us at a greater risk of seeing that ice accumulation. Even according to the National Weather Service, you can see that some of that ice accumulation is going to be even further up northward, where some of them could see a quarter of an inch to half inch of ice accumulation. A lot of the area, even Sioux Falls area, is looking at a tenth to a quarter inch, literally just miles north of the Sioux Falls area. So what this is just going off of the National Weather Service's map and their predictions. We of course do our own here, but we do also kind of piggyback off of the National Weather Service to kind of get some of our information too. Very, very common in this industry and everything, that we do piggyback off of the National Weather Service. So then we are providing the most accurate and up-to-date weather information, not just our own, but also looking at some of their stuff too. They are saying literally just miles north of the Sioux Falls area is where our greatest threat of seeing that ice accumulation accumulating. If this model freeze line does shift just a little further to the south, if temps don't melt between now and then, as far as temps melting, we're going to see that freeze line shift just a further south and bring us that ice accumulation, which is going to hold our map a little more true of seeing where that ice accumulation is going to be a little bit heavier. So that's one thing that we're kind of watching is where is that freezing rain going to set up, and the ice accumulation is going to set up and everything as well. Now, here's a look at Riley's storm prediction, or Riley's snow prediction as far as the snow totals. I'll let you kind of discuss this with it.
Yep. So basically this is tied to the models and what we're seeing right now. Um, you know, the 2 to 4, so the Sioux Falls, Mitchell area, just with majority of it most likely gonna be rain, and maybe some freezing rain as well. Obviously, what we talked about. So that 2 to 4, again, a lot of that is going to be, I think, on Thursday when the snowstorm is pushing away and kind of the wraparound back end snowfall. And then the next category would be the 3 to 6, kind of the winter here on Watertown, Brookings area. That the Brookings area, it's going to be interesting because of the freezing rain that we talked about. How much snow are they actually going to get? But I still think 3 to 6 is a pretty good bet. And then the 7 to 11 area would be, Black Hills area, and then also far northeastern South Dakota. And then Aberdeen area, Phillip, I guess, those areas in pink over there, basically anywhere from, 9 inches to a foot and maybe more. And then this yellow is where I got the 18 plus. So anywhere in that Mobridge, Faith Pier area, I think that's where we could see 2 feet of snow.
Perfect. And you did mention here that you did kind of want to discuss this non-model run, which is, again, here in our industry, we look at, multiple model runs. We don't just sit and look up just one. We definitely look at multiple different model runs. We looked at the European model, we looked at the GFS model, and now we're going to look at the NOM model. The nice thing is, with the software that we utilize is we kind of do get the latest information with that as well. We can zoom in quite well too and kind of pinpoint where things are going to happen and how things are going to happen. So that's the thing with us. And then once we start getting a little closer to the day of the storm, we can actually do another model run, which is called the HRR model run. And then that would actually give us some more detailed information as well. So I'll turn things over to Riley to kind of discuss this one, and I'll be kind of at his controls with this, because we do utilize the same software between Riley and myself. So then we are able to bring you guys the latest information.
Yep. So the HRR model, that is the very short term, more high def model, which basically it's almost just like the radar. It's just a very high def look. And then when you get to the farther, like when you get to the longer term models, they're going to be more scattered out in nature. They're going to be more blobs on the screen. So yeah, you can go ahead and roll it here. And so basically, like we said, the event is supposed to start tomorrow night. Maybe anytime after 10 o'clock p.m. As you're going to bed tomorrow night, the storm will be moving in, and you could hear Monday night into Tuesday, you could hear maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. It just depends on how it all shapes out, but just don't be surprised if you hear any lightning and thunder. And that rain will be pushing up out of Nebraska, as you can see there. And then again, you got that freezing rain in red and pink. And the green would be the rain, and then the blue and white would be the snow on the back end towards Mobridge Pier, Rapid City. And so, yeah, we go into this point. The snow again eventually, as the storm progresses, you'll kind of get away from the freezing rain and more into the snow. Everybody's going to get it on the snow. For western South Dakota all the way to northeastern South Dakota, and then into the Sioux Falls area. But yeah, that freezing rain, so like we said, that's going to start Tuesday. That's mainly going to be a Tuesday event.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I see too here with this NOM model is we do definitely see that, right there, it does move through the Tuesday area. And does bring us that chance of, you can see right here, like Riley was discussing too. And thank you for doing that, Riley. I appreciate it. You can see those heavier bands that are pushing through, which is going to like Riley did mention, create that thunderstorm conditions as possible too. Speaking of thunderstorms, speaking of some severe weather, believe it or not, as we are dealing with this system, further down south is actually dealing with a chance of seeing some severe weather as well. Kansas area down to the Oklahoma and down into the Texas area. Riley, this is day 2, I believe, which would be what?
Yep, that's tomorrow, so that's Monday.
So Monday, a marginal risk is not quite as severe as what a slight risk and moderate risk, and then so marginal risk is a slight less than a slight risk. There is that probability. Basically, is what the National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma, is saying with that one.
Yep. So yeah, for tomorrow, so that's obviously going to be to our south. The worst of it's going to be in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. It wouldn't shock me if that goes slight risk tomorrow down there, but it's not the main event. It's really just the start of it. But as you can see, that thunderstorm risk does clip our area, Sioux Falls, southeastern South Dakota area. And then as you get, this is day 3 now. That goes into Tuesday, and that is the main event in terms of severe weather so far. So that is going to be down even farther south. However, day 3, it still shows southeastern South Dakota in the thunderstorm category, which means just the SPC in Norman, Oklahoma is saying, yes, there's a possibility of some general thunderstorms in this area. Now, that could change as well. Now, if you remember last year, December 15th, there was that derecho event from Nebraska into Iowa and kind of clipped this area. Well, on the day 3 risk last year, it was showing the same thing. It was showing just a general thunderstorm category in this area. And eventually by day 2, it already became a marginal risk, and then into slight risk. And then day 1, all of a sudden turned into a moderate risk. So that's how quickly things can change. So just keep your eyes peeled on the latest forecasts, and whether it's NWS or T Storm Chasers, whichever way you can receive weather, that's going to be your best bet, just because things can change very quickly with a complex system like this. So, and then, yeah, this is day 4. This is kind of like I said, this is kind of the end of it. The severe weather is going to be down, obviously, as you can see, in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Up here, again, it's just going to be that wraparound snow. Not really anything to worry about. However, on Thursday, in terms of that, I feel like as that's kind of the end of the event, I mean, there still could be some nasty weather down south in Alabama area, but up here, it's going to be blowing snow with the wind possible. So I think with that blowing snow, there still could be blizzard-like conditions on Thursday. But again, there's still
and like you did mention. Sorry to cut you off there. We do have that risk of seeing those thunderstorms sticking around. What was that when those tornadoes came through the Sioux Falls area? It was just a very slight risk day. It was a 2% chance risk day. We saw those tornadoes come through, and then all of a sudden, next thing things really turn south. And South Dakota might see eastern portions of South Dakota having a thunderstorm, while western portions are having a blizzard-like condition. It's really going to depend on these temps and where that freeze line sets up and how things does set up. As we do speak about temps here, we do see across the region much difference in temps.
Yep. Yeah, we're already seeing that contrast in temperatures. That warmer air you see out west where you got upper 40s, that's going to be heading this direction. It's going to be kind of switching. So, however, it's not going to be as warm because of the snowpack that we have here. So I guess here it'd be, mid 30s, probably be a pretty good bet tomorrow. As that warmer air kind of shifts east, and as it does, that system that'll be coming in will bring cooler temps out west, and that's what's going to cause a lot of that snow. instead of rain.
So you were talking about the temps and how things are going to look. That kind of brings up a discussion. Look at our 7 day. Our 7 day here is we're going to warm up for a little bit for this Monday Tuesday system, and then once that really gets through, things are going to really change. Temps are going to dip, and we're going to finally see all of
Yep.
winter weather like temps, December like temps.
Yeah,
push through the area.
Yeah, if anyone thought that we may see any more fall days, that's going to be pretty much over. The winter is in full gear now, and all trends are pointing to next week being extremely cold. Like we're frigid. So
So speaking of next week and kind of looking into the future here, we do have the 8 to 14 day outlook temperature that is put out by the National Weather Service as well, and that does show South Dakota is going to be below that normal temperature for this time of year. So we are going to start seeing things come into that Christmas time. Temps are going to be below normal. We're going to see that possibility of the temps below normal, and also precipitation is going to be right there above, leaning towards that above normal. So that's going to bring us into our next presentation as well. Are we going to be looking at a white Christmas? What are your thoughts on that?
absolutely, yep. Just because we already have that snowpack and we don't see any real melting. I mean, yes, the rain that we get will melt a little bit of it, but it's not going to be enough to cause a brown Christmas. And then with the frigid temps basically starting next weekend, it's going to cool everything down. It's not going to cause any melting, obviously. So absolutely, everybody's wish will be granted. There will be a white Christmas this year in South Dakota.
So I did put up a national map here of the GFS latest showing snowpack total, which is going to kind of indicate of our snow depths in the area to kind of let us know how much snow totals are going to be and stuff like that. And you can see much of the nation is going to be having that white Christmas wish that a lot of them does look. As we do look a little closer back home, we can see that those temps are going, or the snow impact is going to stick around, and we're going to have that. Let me get us out of the way here. Get us out of the way here. So as you do see, a lot of the region is going to have at least some sort of snow on the ground, whether down in Nebraska where they got maybe an inch of snow, a little less, upwards to again, I think the GFS kind of really overdoes the storm as it does move through. So snow totals are going to be right there between 1 inch down in Nebraska upwards to over a foot of snow in some areas. Like Riley did mention before, some areas are going to see that 18 inches of snow possibility with this system. It's all going to depend on when the temps are going to change and how things are going to look and how things are going to set up and where that freeze line really does that. And unfortunately, we won't know until things really start coming into play and start knocking on our door.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to kind of follow up the discussion, Riley?
I would just say, definitely for all the viewers, just keep an eye on things because the road conditions could become pretty nasty this week with the storm. So I would just say, just be safe out there. And yeah, I mean, as long as you just don't be in fear about it, just keep your eye on things and keep updated on everything. No need to be scared.
We're definitely not, in my opinion, we're not going to see another incident like in 2013 when we had that major ice storm come through the area. I don't think we're going to be looking at something that elaborate. I think it's going to be less accumulation than that one. But again, it's all going to depend on this freeze line and where that sets up and how it sets up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, folks, stay with T-Storm Chasers as Riley and I continue to monitor this next snowstorm. This is going to be one of the largest snowstorms that we've covered in a while. It'll definitely start to impact the area here Monday evening and not leave the area, unfortunately, until about Thursday evening, if not Friday morning. So we're not looking at a huge dump of snow where it's going to dump all at once. It's going to be over the period of the next 3 days that we're going to have to keep a watch and kind of close eye on and see how things elaborate from there.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks, Riley, for joining us. We'll have to do this again. This was kind of something different and kind of more interactive, and I enjoyed it. So thanks for joining us, guys. Have a fantastic day.